What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building. Uh, so definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it, man. Today has been a day, man. I never thought I'd see the day when I'd be so disgusted with my franchise and the moves that they make and the things that they do. But yeah, it's here. You know, football as a business is not the easiest thing. A lot of times you have to make really hard decisions. You have to figure out what players are going to stay, what players are going to go, who you're going to pay, who you're not going to pay. Hey, Mom, a variety of different things can happen. But from the gate, when this man walked in the door, there's been a lot of question marks. And while there are a very, very large majority of people who feel that they do not have to hold Kyle Shanahan accountable, and a very small few of us that feel that we do, I'm going to continue to hold him accountable consistently. And the reason that is because what's happened to this young man by the name of Trey Lance over the time that he's been here, it's been pretty messed up. Trey Lance was drafted to replace Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't stay on the field, couldn't stay healthy. First season, everybody goes, we don't want him. No. Kyle says, I got packages for him. I'm going to be throwing him in the game here and there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Man throws the first touchdown of the 2021 season. Kyle says, nah. All right, team revolted. They don't want that. All right, we'll stick with Jimmy. But every now and then, he would push back just a small bit. When we were getting our ass handed to us in Green Bay, Trey gave us that shot in the arm right before the half to be able to have at least 7 points. Jimmy had several opportunities. Couldn't deliver. When Jimmy had that phantom injury against Seattle, Trey Lance came in and played pretty darn well. Even though we still lost the game, he still came in and did some really good work and cleanup duty. When Jimmy couldn't go against Arizona, Kyle called the worst game I've ever seen him call in my life. And I was there physically. So we go into the Houston game. First half, Trey Lance looked horrible. Did not look good at all. Second half, Trey Lance woke up. Things got better. Finishes the game. We get the W. Now, mind you, we get that W, and that helps us make the playoffs. But the fan base seems to have forgotten that. So I'm going to bring my man in here, Mr. 49er minded himself, Bashar, because we're going to talk about this. See, this is one of the few people that I was telling you hold Shanahan accountable just as I do. And we are very few. There's not a lot of us that will hold any and everybody in this franchise fully accountable for what they do. And to be honest with you, it's a sad situation when you can't even face the media because you know scrutiny's coming. And you run from it. Instead of addressing it head on, like, man, you run from it. What you could have done was come out, face the music right then and there. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what happened. Boom. So I am trying to be as calm as possible because I'm pretty pissed off about this. What's going on, CarCast? But this young man didn't ask to be here. He didn't ask to come to San Francisco. You guys drafted him. But it's funny to me how you drafted him, but you had no faith in him since he got here. First thing you said was he's very intelligent. Picked up your playbook pretty quickly. But he had to have the reps to go with picking it up. Because I can tell you right now, there are people who are book smart and people who are doers. A book smart person can read a book and tell you any and everything that you need to do. Does not mean they can execute. Doers figure it out by doing. I'm a hands-on person. I learn by being hands-on. Always been that way. I can read that book and I can probably go ahead and do things out of the book, but I like to do things hands-on. Just tell me what you need me to do. If I see it, I can do it. And I go ahead and I try to make those things happen. But it's extremely frustrating when you watch a franchise squander a bunch of picks on a player that they had no faith in, never believed in, wouldn't even give the proper opportunity to, and then to just be thrown in the dirt like it's nothing. But Bashar is here. So tell me your thoughts on this whole situation.
I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a guest on your channel. I've been on here before. Had you on my channel before. I need to bring you on again sometime soon. And it's a crazy day in the land of the 49ers, you could say. I mean, people were like, oh, you're going to go live with Dion. Oh, wow, you guys are going to be dropping F-bombs. I've been getting all sorts of messages saying all that. And by the grace of God, I'm going to try to be calm and relaxed and civil about this. I've spit out plenty of F-bombs on YouTube if you know me, and it may not come off as professional as being civilized. I get it, but my passion runs extremely deep with this team. So if it does come out, hide your wife, hide your kids, whatever, because I'm just a passionate person, and I get very heated when it comes to certain things, especially if I see a person that has been done an extreme disservice. I mean, it's unbelievable if you go through the timeline of the Trey Lance saga with this team, and it's the fact that we swung for the fences, we made the move, and now like it came out, not necessarily right now, but it has came out in the past that supposedly that the Niners swung for the fences, but they were indecisive the whole entire time about what they were going to do. It's like, hold on, pump the brakes. If you don't know what the F you're going to do in terms of going up to pick number 3, then maybe you should sit back and not press the button, or and not execute the plan, because it seems like this team never has a plan when it comes to anything. Yeah, you could talk about, oh, how dare you bash Kyle and John? Look at all the success. Do you want to go back to Tom Masula? Do you want to go back to Chip Kelly? Yada, yada, yada. The same old song and dance, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This team has dropped the ball multiple times. I mean, we could have possibly 2 or 3 Super Bowls with this regime had we just done a couple of things the right way. I mean, that's maybe 2 out of like 15 things that we messed up on, right? You know what I mean? Like, if we just got it right twice out of those 15, I could go down the line. If you've been following this team long enough, you probably know where I'm going with that. So many different scenarios. I mean, the craziest scenario is this. Had we never drafted Trey Lance, we stayed put with Jimmy G at quarterback, held on to the picks, gotten Micah Parsons, gotten whoever at offensive line, did whatever. I see us with 7 Super Bowls right now. That's what I see. But the stuff that I don't even want to speak on it right now. I'm like, I'm at a loss for words. You go ahead and take over. I'll pick up on it later with this whole Trey stuff. It's just killing me.
I get you, man. You all good, bro. You aren't that important is dropping nice little gems in the chat, man. I appreciate you. I don't know who you are, but you're basically on the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I was trying to just chronicle Trey Lance's career as a Niner. So after he wins that Houston game, helps us get into the playoffs. Now he doesn't matter. Next season, They say, okay, Trey, this is your team. Jimmy, you got to go. It's a wrap. Trey has everything. He has the whole offseason. He has everything. Next thing you know, look who's back. Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. Anybody in their right mind will tell you it's not good to have a previous starter from your regime, especially after you just went to an NFC championship game on your squad that next year, and you switched the quarterbacks. That doesn't work. Anybody in their right mind knows you can't do that. Why? Teams build allegiances to players, especially the quarterback, which is supposed to be the unquestioned leader of the team. So, Juice, McGlinchey, Kittle, even Trent Williams, they're all Jimmy guys. And what's going on, Ryan? And when Jimmy was in and they started talking about Jimmy bad and, saying things negatively about him, this team came to his defense. They jumped on social media. Don't talk about it. That's messed up. This ain't right. But Trey Lance gets talked about negatively and shitted on in the media and crickets.
Minus Javon Kinlaw.
Oh, wait, what did Kinlaw say? I didn't even know.
Kinlaw had tweeted something about the Michael Lombardi thing. I forgot what his exact words there. Ryan might be able to help me out. One of you guys in chat might be able to help me out. But then the next day, Kinlaw was like, "Oh, I can't get into the facility." I don't know if he was joking, if he was serious, but it seemed weird, man.
Yeah, but see, here's my thing. Like, I'm just trying to chronicle the young man's career to an extent. So he comes into the season. Jimmy's a backup. Everybody knows this is Trey's team. We're not changing. We're not doing any of that. Kyle's game plan is very run heavy. It's almost as if he doesn't know how to coach Trey Lance. Kyle's never been a developer or quarterback, so let's just keep that a buck. He has not. But the one thing that kills me is you have a run heavy offense. The minute Jimmy gets in, we start throwing again. We're back to 49er football. What is that supposed to mean? So it wasn't 49er football when Trey Lance was in? I don't know what that means. And on top of that, you look at that second game, it's an option, read option play. You either run or you throw. He chooses to run. Right up in the middle of a pile. Tears his ankle up. He's down. Jimmy comes in. We start throwing. Jimmy goes down. Brock comes in. We still keep throwing. Now, it just seems to me that there were different plays called for Trey Lance than there were for Jimmy and Brock Purdy. And a lot of people seem to like to be oblivious to that. I'm not, because I saw it and I watched it. There's definitely a different playbook that they had for Trey Lance than they did for Jimmy. And it was very run heavy. Now, could that have been to help his development? Maybe. But in the process of it being run heavy, then you should be handing the ball off. Trey Lance's option to run should be the last option. Did they underestimate his athleticism? Yes. They did. No, they didn't underestimate, overestimated his athleticism. Trey Lance is not Lamar Jackson. He's not even Josh Allen. Does he have a little bit of mobility and a little wiggle? Yes. But what kills me is the dude gets injured. In that same season, what does Kyle Shanahan say? Well, you can't lose your job to injury. Tayshaun Gibson and Huff built a really good connection. So what does that say for Jimmy Ward, who came back and was basically told, play nickel or ride the bench? We don't care either way. But Jimmy was injured and he lost his job. I thought you couldn't lose your job to injury. Trey Lance was injured, lost his job. But I thought you couldn't lose your job to injury. So to me, it makes absolutely no sense how you can sit up there and spew lie after lie after lie, and no one cares. Everybody's cool. A lot of the fans of 49 are like, oh man, he's a coach, he's this, he's that. There's a pass just consistently handed out day after day, week after week, year after year. Y'all know Kyle Shanahan is 4 games over 500. And that man has been here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. 6 years, and you are just barely over 500? It don't make no sense. So
yeah, it's crazy, man.
Like, Bash, he's 51-47. That's his total. He is 51-47 with 2 NFC championship games, well, 3 NFC championship games, 1 victory in that, and a Super Bowl loss. The other seasons were all his fault. And it just drives me insane that this was the situation.
I mean, I was listening on Spaces, and I'm going to give you the kindergarten version of what I was listening to. The real Niner Mike, because real Niner Mike, man, that guy was just going off, and he was just yelling and screaming about how we're in year 7 and we're still pussyfooting around with the quarterback position. You know what I mean? It's like this, like, oh my God, look, we're just juggling quarterbacks, and to start off with Bobby Hoyer, and pass up on Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. I think Kyle was defiant to the point where he still I think he still said something ridiculous today. I saw somebody tweet out that he still liked CJ Beathard at the time over Watson and Mahomes, which is ridiculous. I don't know what he ever saw in CJ Beathard other than a deep ball, but he even has a slow release on his deep ball. His arm did not really impress me. It's definitely not the arm of Lance or even Darnold, so to speak.
Now, see, with that being said, that proves my point, people. Kyle has a type at quarterback. It's a white guy. In the words of Cat Williams, I forgot what movie this was, but it was a scene where he was in jail, and Cat Williams, Tiffany Haddish was supposed to be his baby mama. She came to visit him. And she brought 2 kids. She had one kid that was black. She had another baby that was white. So he was like, who the fuck is that? And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, who the fuck is this white baby? He was like, she was like, this your baby. And he was like, nuh-uh, that ain't my baby. That baby is white. He was like, his skin looked like milk. That baby is, his ancestry is Caucasian. He is from the mountains of Caucasus. People never said Kyle Shanahan. Look, yeah, you aren't that important. You got it. Yo, what's going on, Mariah? And what's going on, Throwback? TD in the house. What's good, John V? Nothing but love, baby.
Terradome's here, I think.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Terradome. Man, I just called him TD. But
okay.
I'm gonna bring in one of our female friends from the Empire.
Ladies of the Empire. Oh, is she ready?
Yeah.
There she is. Right.
Hey, my peoples. Hey, Dion.
What's going on?
Oh, pissed off about my stupid coach.
Huh?
Man, bro. I've been telling y'all love Kyle Shanahan. That's the guy. But after his second year, I said fire that motherfucker. This is the only coach who's been here 7 years. Under barely top 500. He really, it's like at the end of the day, the standard for the 49ers since we got him has dramatically dropped. So you mean to tell me the entire time Trey Lance has been here, all he wanted to do was get reps, and he's actually proven he took the shittiest offense I think I've ever fucking seen and brought us to victory. Even the stupid content creators, anybody said that Trey has outdone Sam Darnold. And I said it. Watch this motherfucker give Sam Darnold quarterback 2. And then had the audacity to send Fred Warner out and Hargrave. Like, you can't be a man and say, I felt this dude was way better. Like, yo, bro, like, I've been saying this. Bashar and them can tell you I've been saying this. Kyle should have left a long time ago, because if they had no need for Trey while the draft was available, they should have let his ass go. And even before that, when the minute they decided to keep Jimmy G, they should have let Trey go. They should have let Trey go.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, Kyle Shanahan sells everybody these fucking wolf tickets, and people keep biting them. It's like, yo, like, bye. I swear he got his job due to nepotism. Nepotism is what got him hired. There is no way you mean to tell me since 2006 when he got in the league. I just want to know, what has Kyle done? I want Harbaugh back. Give me Harbaugh. Give me Harbaugh.
Everybody would love that, because Harbaugh was the type of guy that actually believed in you. Harbaugh pounded you on your shoulder pads,
the shoulder
twice,
pads. Yeah.
give you a little bump to the chest, and he made you understand that he believed in you. He knew when you went on that field, you needed that extra vote of confidence. And the vote of confidence from your head coach goes a long way, outside of the vote of confidence for the fans, from the fans, should I say. And my biggest thing is Kyle is 51-47, just barely over 500, and it doesn't make any sense. And I've never had a situation where it's been that frustrating.
But it does make sense.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because sure, okay, now early on in Kyle's tenure, I understand that they had to do things from the ground up, brick by brick. Okay, I understand that part. But when I say it does make sense is look at our quarterbacks who always get hurt. How does that happen? Well, it helps. It would help if you solidify the offensive line. When you trade Trenton Brown off to the New England Patriots because you drafted Mike McGlinchey, and and then that same year Trenton Brown went to Super Bowl. Like you can just go down the line of all the F ups Kyle has done, and even now we're Purdy getting his arm snapped in the playoff game. Okay, let's draft for O-line, right? Because we can't keep a quarterback upright. Well, it was on a design run, I get, with Trey Lance or whatever, but in general, the QB's been getting hurt. Josh Johnson got hurt in the same damn game, and you think they prioritize offensive line. I mean, Kyle is an amazing play caller. He's amazing at drawing up people open. And he knows how to bring in assistant coaches. And assuming that's all his call. I'm assuming it is. But just like you said, with Harbaugh pounding on the shoulder pads and being that head coach, some people think that rah guy is tough. Stuff doesn't mean anything. When you're a quarterback, when you get that vote of confidence, guess what? It does mean something. And it means I never once saw Trey get any vote of confidence from Kyle. And then when he gets hurt, well, what are you trying to say? He's a dual threat quarterback. You have to run a dual threat. Just apologize and just say, hey, maybe I could have did better and been a bit more careful as a play caller. We had a plethora of running backs. I mean, there was no point to, like, in those first two games to run Trey as recklessly as we did. I mean, we have running backs to do all that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you have Elijah Mitchell and a Jordan Mason and seeing like all these things. So here's my biggest thing is that any other coach that did what Kyle Shanahan just did would have been fired. Because there's no way in hell you trade that kind of draft capital and then just give up on the dude automatically. Because you saw what you saw from Brock Purdy. That interview that coach gave about Kyle Shanahan was spot on. And he's been showing us this is who he is for years. Kyle Shanahan thinks for the moment, and he does not think for the future. Kyle Shanahan made his mind up after Brock Purdy ripped his UCL that Brock Purdy was the guy. In that moment, that's when he knew. He said, it don't matter what happened. I've seen what I've seen from this kid. That's all I need to see. And Kyle Shanahan is one of those show me something players. Show me something coaches. It's like if you don't show him and you ain't ready, then you're never going to happen. I'll give it to you like this. Dr. Dre is one of the greatest musical producers of all time. No question. Does anybody know that Dr. Dre had a serious roster of a ton of talent? Never saw the light of day. And you know why? They didn't come to him ready. Look at the talent. And this is nothing against Dre. I love Dre. I'm West Coast. I'm born and raised LA. You know what I'm saying? But look at the talent Dr. Dre had. Eminem. It's easy to market a crazy white dude that raps and can rap pretty damn good. Not hard. Took the world by storm. And I honestly call Eminem a comedic rapper because some of the shit he says doesn't make any fucking sense. He started off.
He was better when he was a comedic rapper. I don't like this whole I'm trying to be hard and tough Eminem.
He started off and said, "Hi kids, do you like violence? Want to see me stick 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids?" Does that sound like a rapper? No. Rappers don't talk like that. But it worked. It was a stick and it worked. Eminem sold a lot of records. But look at the rest of the guys. Dr. Dre had Eve. She was signed to him. Nothing. Crickets. Bishop Lamont. Nothing. Crickets. And there's like a longer list of artists that were there with him. Never saw the light of day. You already had to have a hit song, or you already had to be that artist that he just knew was going to pop. Look what he did with 50. Look what he did with Gang. Look what he did with Snoop. Look what he did with DPG. These are things that happen. Why? Because Dr. Dre saw what he needed to see, and he made that decision. The only difference between Dr. Dre and Kyle is Dre got way more wins than Kyle do. And a lot more money. But 6-10, 3-13, 13-3, 6-10, 10-7, 13-4. But we ain't got no Lombardi to show for this. What really pisses me off about this whole situation is the fact that Kyle just don't even give a fuck. For you to be a bitch and not even go to the podium and take that heat and say to yourself, "Hey man, I gotta get up at this podium and explain why I just fucked up." For you to duck that, it's bitch made, homie.
See, I was on with Mariah yesterday, and she broke the news to me about how Kyle splittered that, just said that crap about, oh yeah, you know, it's QB2. It hasn't been named yet, but QB2 can change. It's liquid. It can change from here to there, and 1 week QB2 can be different from the other. Like when I heard that, I was like, is Kyle really still trying to reinvent the wheel? I mean, he did it again. He did it earlier in camp with giving Brandon Allen reps and then giving Sam Darnold all these reps, and when multiple people who are at practice were just saying that Trey looks. Obviously, we saw the improvement with his mechanics, and he just looks to be the better player than Darnold.
He looked better than everybody, all of the other quarterbacks, including Purdy.
And then remember the day before the Raider game? I was like, okay, well, if you're going to start him in the first half, why are you only giving him 3 reps the day before? None of this adds up and makes sense. I can go down the line. So Kyle just says some bozo shit to the media. Oh, we don't know who the QB2 is going to be. He just like that same BS that he does when he says, "Oh, I don't know who's going to be alive on Sunday" and all this crap. Like, so Lance and Darnold do have the same agent.
That's kind of the most famous line right there. I think we all in 49ers.
I know. I feel like we're the only team that deals with this. I've never dealt with this once as a 49er fan until Kyle came along. But it's like Kyle and Lance and Darnold do share the same agent. So maybe once Lance heard that, like Kyle telling me that he doesn't know who QB2 is going to be, and it may change from week to week and all this crap. Lance probably told his agent, "Dude, find a way to get me out of here. Let's just do this." And then Kyle probably was like, "Okay." Then the next day, "Okay, we officially named Darnold." That could have been what happened. What's up, John V?
Yeah, what's going on, fam?
Good to see you, boys.
Get crazy now. John V's here.
Yeah, we just in here, man, just pretty pissed off about this fuck shit that just happened, man. And I'm sorry, I can never I'm not giving Kyle a pass. and I can tell
I'm
you
not
right
giving him a
now,
pass.
and
I'm not
for
giving him
me,
a pass.
I'm gonna call him Kyle Reed from now on.
No,
You will
Reed's
remain
won 2
Kyle
Super Bowls
Reed.
though.
Yeah, but here, no, I'm calling him Kyle Reed from Philly. Because what did Andy Reid do in Philly? He never got over the hump. And he had that stain on his name for years. You're good, but you're just not great. But what Andy Reid realized was, maybe I'm a little too hard. Let me be more of a player's coach. And see, Kyle is not that dude. But John
He
V,
is
tell
with the
me.
click. He is with his Cabo click.
Oh, yeah, with his Cabo click, yeah, he hangs out. But John V, tell me how you feeling about this situation, man.
Well, bro, I'm first off, in a sense, I'm kind of relieved. I know that seems kind of crazy, being as though I'm a
Nope, it
Trey
makes
Lance
total
guy,
sense. It makes
but
total sense.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted, okay, of the quarterback controversy. We've been going through this for years now, and shit just is what it is, right? That being said, I have no confidence in Sam Darnold. But I guess we should have known that when they signed Sam Darnold on the first day of free agency, the writing was on the wall that day.
Yeah, the fix was
Being
in.
as though those guys share the same agent, Trey didn't find out late. He probably got the edge up, and dude was probably done with San Francisco. I'm willing to bet that Trey was done with San Francisco the moment he found out. The moment he found out that he would have to compete with this guy for the second spot, and I'll be goddamned if I'm the third spot. I'm out. I'm out. Like, and I wouldn't doubt that, first of all, yesterday's presser, today's news, bruh, that shit right there is screaming something ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and the rest of that front office have never, ever been on the same page. Family. They are talking out of one side of their mouth. One guy goes left, the other guy goes right. It's almost like these two idiots never were supposed to be together, right? Like Kyle married himself to John, but in reality, like whose idea was it, right? Sometimes I think Dion and Bash that Mike Shanahan married Kyle and John together. Hey, John, do me a favor. We got a good thing going with Kyle over here in Santa Clara. You know, what do you think? You good with we drop a name? We drop your name for a GM candidate? Like nothing that this franchise has done is on par with anything else. Any other organization, like you said, dude, Cats heads would be rolling by now. You know? But Jed York's too much of a bitch to do anything, right? So he just gave Kyle the keys to the castle, and Kyle can do whatever the fuck he wants because he can burn through capital. He can burn through developmental years. Like, bro, nobody taught you, Kyle. You didn't Kyle grew up with a silver spoon, right? So like that you finish what you started. That was never a Kyle Shanahan trait. You know what I'm saying? We can take this kid out of the draft, and we're not responsible for developing him. If it doesn't go the way we want it, when we want it, it's no good. So she just spit this kid out, bro. Simple as that. He got hurt. Kyle walked away from Trey Lance before that fucking cart left the field with Trey Lance on it. He walked away from this kid on that day. Point blank, period. You want this motherfucker to throw with John Beck? That's like saying, Dion, I want you to podcast with this cardboard box that I have glued to this stick. And I want you to just get on camera with this box, and I want you to dress it up the best way that you can. Make it work, bruh. Make it work.
And by the way, this box is better than you.
Right.
Even though the box has no words, it's still better than you.
So Trey Lance goes and he throws with Jeff Christensen. And he is different, right? How much do you want to bet, bro, that pissed Kyle off beyond reconciliation? You went ahead and did something that I did not ask you to do. Kyle hates anybody that goes off script. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't give a damn what it is. The moment you do different, you're burnt. You're
Now,
done.
really quick, you can continue your point. People, what John V said is the reason Aaron Rodgers ain't here.
Or Tom Brady.
Tom
Or
Brady.
Tom Brady.
How can
Because
you
why?
possibly put these guys with that ego of Kyle's with
That's
Tom Brady
not-
or Aaron Rodgers? Are you kidding me?
Especially Tom Brady, who was already who by this time had already won 6 fucking Super Bowls.
Right.
But you ain't about to come there and tell that man a goddamn thing.
I'm not gonna
He
listen to
come in
you,
there and
bro.
He's gonna look at you and be like, "Man, what the fuck out of here, man. You need to calm down. Okay, you gonna run the offense that I want to run. You gonna do what the fuck I want to do, and that's how we gonna win these rings." Tom Brady is literally the most underpaid quarterback on the planet. Tom Brady purposely took them pay cuts. Why? Because he didn't want to suck all the money out of the franchise and have a shit team around him. So what did he do? He found money elsewhere. But what happened? That turned into 6 Super Bowls, people. And then he went into the NFC and got a 7th. So he did what he was supposed to do. So you can't come in and have somebody with that kind of resume and then be trying to get them to kowtow to your approach, because they gonna look at you and be like, bro, I've been doing this shit for years. I got 6 rings. I've been in the playoffs a million times. I don't know who the fuck you talking to, but
Exactly,
my resume
bro.
speaks for itself.
He'd been making big boy throws, trusting receivers. Kyle, you trust me. I will tell you who's open. I will tell you where to go with the ball. The scheme says X, Y, and Z. He gets the ball. Tom was making throws, trusting receivers his entire career. That's why he was successful, because it wasn't an OCD scheme that was developed by a guy who was, borderline, impossible to tolerate. Those guys would have never have gotten along. The franchise, I mean, John Lynch is the guy that's always going to get roasted for Kyle's shit. And I bet you any money, John Lynch is like, you know what, dude? I never lost a thing in my life. Ever since I paired myself with you, we've been losing. Where you make me like John looks so out of place all the time. Like, you guys don't talk before you go before the media. You don't even try to get on the same page. John looks so uncomfortable, bro. That does not tell me. That's not the body language of a GM who's comfortable in his role. A general manager is not a puppet. He is the general manager of the organization. And we discredit and dismiss John Lynch like he's just a puppet. I thoroughly believe that John Lynch is not good with anything that has happened yet. None of it. Dion, what happened yesterday, bro? We were told that this was an ongoing competition and that it would carry on into the regular season. Less than 24 fucking hours later, what? You made your decision? What happened? 2 things, brother. 2 things could have happened. Shit's going south with the Bosa contract and with penny pinching, or Trey Lance was not on board with the bullshit that came out of your mouth yesterday.
That's what I think it was. I think Trey.
And I think it was Trey Lance not being on board.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Because here's the biggest problem. I'm not gonna lie to you. First round picks have a reason to have a little bit of an ego, small amount, because they're first round picks. Trey Lance was number fucking 3. He was in the top 10. So when you're in the top 10, your ego gets even bigger. You know why? Because the team thought that highly of you to pick you up in that high in the draft. So it's like, okay, they're investing in me. Here's the thing. Look at it like this. If you have an investment, you need to be able to make sure that you see a return. But if you don't see a return, usually you want to abandon that investment. In football, you can't do that. Because now, hypothetically speaking, our first round picks have turned out to be shit. Outside of BA. Literally, outside of Brandon Ayuk, none of our first round picks have worked out. And that includes Trey Lance. But what I will say is, if I'm Trey Lance and you look me in my face and tell me, first you tell me at the beginning of camp, pretty much, Brock is the guy. Barring injury, he's the guy. Then you tell me I got to split reps with a motherfucker who's been on the field, whose game tape you've watched. You know he's a failure, but I got to split reps with this guy. Oh, and by the way, you're going to bring in another jackass who was just a fucking backup, never saw the field but from the sidelines, and I got to split reps with this motherfucker too? Coach, didn't you pick me number 3? Yeah. What the fuck am I splitting reps with these motherfuckers? This don't make sense. And it's like you slap him in the face with that and tell him it's okay. That's like pissing on Trey Lance saying, oh, it's raining. No, it's not. It's not raining. It's piss, and it's fucking yellow, and it's strong. Like, this is some bullshit. I'm sorry. I literally, like, I flew off the hinge. And what kills me is we all root for the 49ers in general. We root for this. We do. Every last one of them. We root for that. But we don't like to watch the fucking franchise do fuck shit and get away with it. That's not okay. And there's a large majority of people out there who are perfectly comfortable with the way that Kyle has handled things. And I just don't understand why. The man has done some unbelievable fuck shit since he's been here. He handicapped us for a man crush. You know what I'm saying? And Sarah Acosta, if you want to act like that, see your way out the fucking chat, man. I don't have time for the shit. I'm going to express myself on my channel. If you don't like the shit, go. You don't have to be here, but you're not going to be in here trying to troll nobody because we talking about some real shit. That's the thing. While you want to put your little emojis and laugh about it and then probably put another comment and go, oh my God, you're in your feelings. Nobody's in their feelings. I'm just talking about real shit.
I'll tell you this, and you guys probably already know this, but I've seen endless Twitter polls based upon this Trey Lance fuckery and Sam Darnold and all this other shit. And it's those people who are trolling in the chat, they're like in the bottom 10 to 15%. Real talking of whatever poll I've fucking seen. So they might have to go out of their way and be the loudest voice or be the cheerleader in the chats. I see you cheerleaders, I see you trolls. We see you guys, but you guys are in the bottom percentile. Just to remind you guys.
And you're probably casual, and they're probably casual fans. They don't even watch the game. They don't even anything. And see, here we go. Yes, you mean real little man. I don't even know the fuck you are, but you can get the fuck out of my channel with that shit. Say something stupid again, I'll kick your ass and fucking block you. I don't care. I truthfully don't.
I want to add this really, really quick though. Shout out to Tyler Miller in the chat. If you guys don't know who he is, he's got a new channel. It's called Bay Soil, I believe it's called, and he's been on 95.7 The Game in the studio. He's the big chatter with them. Really good guy. Had him as a guest a few times, and he told me this. He said, "Hang on, I'm gonna tell you exactly what he told me to say." He said, "Okay, just know this: we were 49er fans before Shanahan got here, and we'll still be fans long after he's gone. Just remember that."
That much is true. We all will be. But my thing is I don't like a head coach that screws up my team and then just thinks it's okay. And I don't like when the fan base just watches the shit happen and then fucks around and goes, this ain't, goes, oh, my bad. What? Yeah. And see, everybody except for
it's their capital, Dion. It's their draft picks too, fans. Yeah. Those draft picks are yours too. Don't you want those spent? Don't you want your team insulated for the future? Don't you want that? Like, when you just casually roll along with whatever the hell goes on, like, that's not cool, man. Have a mind of your own. Like, don't be a follower, be a leader, or at least follow the people that know what the fuck's going on. There's a lot of people whose balls dropped today. A lot of people's balls dropped today, bro, because it was safe. You see, it came from the top. So now that it came from the top, it's a safe bet. Now we're coming out of the woodwork, shitting and pissing on everybody, calling everybody Trey stands and Trey sexuals. Like, y'all didn't even bother having a voice. You didn't even try to speak before. Now you're a professional. Now you have an opinion. Where have you been all off season? But nothing. Crickets for all of you. But now it came from the top. So everybody's got the safe path to shitting on everyone and anyone, dude. It was insane. In 1 hour, they were men. They were men.
If they're standing by what they say, then these are the same motherfuckers who think that it's okay to fuck off picks to the Miami Dolphins. I think that we're a fucking charity for the Miami Dolphins because that's what you stand by and that's what you support. If you if you just don't if you want to say bye to a prospect after 4 games and just say adios, see ya, oh bye, you suck.
Right.
I mean, unless you have internal hate for that player because you hate black people or you hate whatever, then speak upon it. But a lot of people won't speak upon it because they're pussies and they're little bitches and they'd rather be trolls and hide behind computers with their Twitter profiles that have no pictures or nothing. So
and my number one thing about that is like, and see, people, I've always said the same exact thing. Never said Kyle Shanahan was racist. I never did. I've said he has a type at quarterback, and it is Caucasian. It is what it is. I don't give
It's pushover. It's also pushover.
And he does, and he does like to
every
have a
quarterback is a doormat.
Yes.
They will never challenge their master, man. He always wants the nice guy. Trey was his pick. Trey just couldn't match his timeline. I'm never going to believe in that. The only time this fan base family was ever united, ever, was was during the draft with Mac. Nobody wanted Mac Jones. It was the only time this fan base was ever united.
Yeah,
that front office was like, you don't draft Mac. Don't you? Even if he was somebody's guy in that room, there were no-nos. You are not drafting him. The fan base is going to roast us.
Yeah, really quick, Steve-O, Jimmy was white, bro. Italian is considered white. All right, you're European in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so you trying to say that? And I've never said Kyle was a racist. That's what I keep trying to tell people. I've never said that. I just said he has a type of quarterback and is white pushover quarterback. That's what he likes. Why do you think he wanted Kirk Cousins here? Because Kirk Cousins was the guy he originally wanted. Him and his dad wanted Kirk Cousins way over RG3. His dad did not want Donovan McNabb, but he needed a bridge quarterback. So he said, I'm going to go out and get a veteran. And when what happened? He challenged Kyle. Next thing you know, starts getting thrown under the bus. Boom. Next thing you know, he gone. RG3, they didn't want him. The owner wanted him. What happens to RG3? Leg gets fucked off, career's over. He goes to Baltimore, now he's a commentator. Trey Lance comes in. Didn't do anything to anybody. Hurt his finger, rehabbed his finger. Comes in the next season, supposed to be the guy, but you run him into the ground. Now he done broke his ankle. Then the next year comes in, oh, well, I found my quarterback, Brock Purdy. That's the guy. So we're good then. You know what I'm saying? Like it to me, it frustrates me to no end when you sit there and completely state false narratives. You know what I'm saying? And is a situation where you just know what you don't care for. Honestly, if I'm Trey Lance, my question to Kyle would be, why the fuck did you draft me if you had no faith in me? What was the significance of that? You didn't have to waste my time and yours. And the number one thing that everybody gives Kyle a pass for is the fact that we have not had a franchise quarterback for years since he's been here. There has not been a specific guy that we can rely on week in and week out being healthy. Because since Kyle has been here, we have been top 10 in teams injured in the league every fucking year. We just got Taco Charlton and put this motherfucker on IR for the year.
He played one preseason game.
Really? How is that he came in and that just it's mind-boggling.
I mean, it's the style of football. I don't dislike that.
Everybody gets injured and we can't control that. But really, you really mean to tell me that for 6 straight years you're in the top 10 of most injured teams? That tells me there's something wrong and you're not addressing it.
We're just physical. I don't mind the style of football that we play, D. I don't mind the style of football. If you get hurt, you get hurt. But this is the thing. When it happens at the quarterback position and you're running through them like water, that's where something needs to be adjusted. Yeah. But as for the rest of this teams went 0-15 after playing us because we were so physical. We beat the brakes off these teams, and they could not beat their opponents after playing San Francisco. I love that. I love that stat. That's a historical stat. That's dope. However, this entire process has taken away from the defense and some of the great players that are on it.
Mhm.
All this controversy that Kyle could have put us like, dude, you could have ended this during free agency.
Yeah,
You could have moved Trey somewhere else. Let him have a camp
Exactly.
with someone else. You just made this all just a puddle of piss.
And the number
It's just
one
a
thing
puddle
is,
of piss.
don't sit up there and believe you about to get another 2 first-round picks for a dude that ain't been on.
Come on, man.
Are you like you didn't get an
ain't
offer
getting
that
nothing
you
for it,
liked, sir? Have you seen anything from Trey Lance that would warrant 2 first-round picks? I haven't. Now I'm not saying
you gotta play in games to actually build value.
Yeah,
other teams would be like, well, he only played 4 games. Why should we give you anything?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, teams won't do that. Now, you, Ishmael, you said you heard that CMC never really lined up. CMC didn't line up with Lance. George Kittle didn't line up with Lance. He barely had BA or Brandon Ayuk. There were just so many things that happened that he didn't enjoy the luxury of. Sam Darnold, in that last game that we just played, actually got a snap with the first team fucking offense. And Trey Lance didn't.
Nope.
It tells
Wonder how
you,
BA feels about that.
It tells you, and what, to be honest with you, I don't care what nobody says. He never liked Trey Lance because if you care about your players, you defend them at all costs. That man was being ripped to shreds by the media, and you had the nerve to get up there and say he's a first-round pick. It comes with the territory. So you're okay with the media bashing your player. This is the guy that you technically are tied to. So I can tell you right now with all certainty, because of what happened with Trey Lance, that's on Kyle. That's your fault. You will live in infamy forever for picking a guy that high, wasting that draft capital.
How does he sleep at night? How does he sleep at night? I'm sorry to cut you off. How does this guy sleep at night? I've never seen a coach go this route to
his
get a
job
player.
is never being held.
It's unbelievable, dude. I know
He doesn't have to own it. He can just do what he wants, bro. It's trial and error. Can you imagine being that careless in a multi-billion-dollar business?
That's what kills me, man, is the fact that we had so many people look at this situation and go, I don't understand. And I'm telling you right now, it drives me insane to the fact that Trey Lance is now on a trade block. No one cares. And we all think, and people are out there literally like laughing about this, saying it's nothing. Like, I don't understand why Trey Lance gets so much hate from the media, so much hate from the fans, when he hasn't done anything to warrant that. The man helped us get into the playoffs a couple years ago. Everybody seems to forget that.
But nobody gave him credit for that.
Yeah. If Trey doesn't
nobody
win
credited
that game,
him for that.
Yeah, if Trey doesn't win that game in Houston, we don't go to the playoffs, people.
Teammates didn't step up. They didn't bother doing shit for him.
He played a weak team, guys. He played a weak team. And it doesn't matter if we lost and we missed the playoffs because he played a weak team. So.
And I really hate the fact that the team, they ain't even standing up for the man. And I can tell you right now, Fred Warner was completely caught off guard.
Yeah.
Because you could tell by the way he answered that question, his body language, everything about him was like, when he literally said, I'm asking around because I don't know what's going on, I believe that 150%. Fred Warner is focused on being a linebacker and the leader of this defense. He is not focused on the offense and what they are doing outside of when he has to play them in practice. Other than that, he is not in that business. Most players will tell you that is above my pay grade. But for you to send Fred Warner and Javon Hargrave out there to deal with the media from your bullshit is a pussy ass move.
They should have just closed off the media for the day if they were going to be a bunch of pussies and not want to face the media.
Because they're going. The funny thing is, our media is soft. They just are. So they're not going to hardball Kyle on this. They're going to ask him simple questions, and they're going to allow him to have his little soliloquy moment of 50 fucking years of bullshit that nobody fucking understands, and then somebody's going to ask a different question and just try to rephrase it, and it's never going to get anywhere. Now, I do give you exactly what Bashar said. I do give one person credit. Grant Cohn will ask the hard questions. I may not fuck with him, but he does ask those straightforward, hardcore questions, and Kyle continues to dance around him. And I think the reason that he can dance around him is because no one will challenge him because they know he's going to get them kicked out of the room. So you couldn't have somebody like me in there. Because I'd have looked dead at Kyle. I'd have been like, explain to me why you wasted all that draft capital on a player you didn't believe in and you're ready to cut after just a couple of years and not even seeing what he truthfully has to offer on the field. I would like an explanation on that. Well, no, Kyle, I didn't ask you to give me a soliloquy on a bunch of bullshit. I'm asking you a straightforward question. I need you to explain to me what happened and how you fucked off all that draft capital and you're magically getting a pass from everybody else in this room, but not me. I need to know why you wasted our draft capital on a player you didn't believe in and you never allowed to develop. You really need to explain that. It is not okay. Now, I can tell you this. Purdy, in a small moment, somewhat came to Trey Lance's defense. Not really, but a little bit. He just said that he would like to see him win. I can tell you right now, I guarantee you that team was told, don't address what's going on in the media with Trey Lance. If they ask you about it, leave it alone. But what kills me is y'all automatically just went ahead and decided to bring, to come to Jimmy Garoppolo's defense, but you couldn't come to Trey Lance's? That's pretty fucked up. I literally would. Oh, bro. Oh, Rocky Mountain Razorback, my dog. I love nothing but love, bro. They wouldn't allow me in there because I would ask them hard questions. I can tell you right now, if I lived in the Bay Area and I saw Kyle Shanahan in the store, I would tell him, you a bitch for what you did to Trey Lance. I'd tell him straight to his face. I would look dead at him. I would tell him, that's really fucked up how you did that, young man. You should be ashamed of your goddamn self. Drafting that young man and then doing him that greasy. Run him into the ground, act like he don't know nothing. Then you're going to bring in a fucking loser, tell him he's got to split reps with him, bring in another fucking loser, tell him he's got to split reps with that guy. I am the number 3 pick that you picked.
I want to speak on this. I've watched football for pretty damn long. I'm not saying I'm the ultimate football watcher by any stretch of the imagination. Played it at one point, but I'll say this. When I see a player out there for 3 years, 4 years, whatever, how many years, at a certain point in time, and I know the guy starts sucking, trust me, I will not keep my mouth shut on that bullshit. I'll fucking say, you know what? This guy may have been good in the beginning. And I saw a lot of potential in him at one point, but I've come to the realization that he's just not it. I said it about Kaepernick. I fucking had Kaepernick jersey, whatever you said. When Kaepernick's game started falling off, he started throwing pick sixes or whatever. I said it then. I said it about Jimmy when I saw Jimmy's play fall off. And I'll say about whoever. If their play falls off, I'll try not to be an asshole about it, but I will say that they start sucking and we may have to look into a different direction. We did not get to see whether this guy was good, great, good, bad, okay, average, shitty, terrible, bust. We never got to see anything. What kind of fucktard shit is this? What kind of fucktard world we're living in? And then you got all the fucking racist, dumbass fucking Trey fans, or just fans who don't know shit about football. Take your pick. You're on one side or the other or both. Oh, he's a bust. No, then you don't know shit about sports. Don't know shit about football. He did not get the proper amount of games to prove he's a bust, average player, good player, great player, whatever category you may fill the box in. Never had that opportunity. Yeah, he might get it somewhere else.
And that's why you can't call him a bust, because he ain't never been on the field. See, I didn't call Jalen Hurd a bust. I just said he just ain't built for the NFL. His body could not take it. That man got signed by the Patriots and retired the next day.
He caught a big touchdown in practice. It's kind of a bust.
It's
the same thing. He retired.
It's a situation where the young man just never saw the field.
Kevin White. Remember Kevin White?
Yeah, Kevin White was not good.
Now, Kevin White,
drafted by the Bears, was a first round.
What happened? Yeah, and what happens? He never played.
Never.
We had him, and he did nothing.
We had him. He never played.
Nothing.
And that was the thing. And that was the number one thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kid you not. I laughed because I saw it. And when we had Kevin White, I was like, what do we do that? I was like, and then I thought about it. I was like, oh, you know what? We love injured players here. We do. If you're injury prone, come on to the Niners. We'll take you. And we'll pay you while you sit here and do nothing. Like when I look at the dead cap every year, it is absurd. Luckily, this is the last year we have to pay D4. You know what I'm saying? But before
he's still milking us, bro.
He's still milking it. And
gosh.
see, the thing is, while we on that subject, D4 could have did us a solid and retired, and we wouldn't have had to keep paying him. But you know what he did? He was like, I'm about to get this free money, and I ain't gonna retire to do shit. Because what did Weston Richburg do? He did us a real solid. He retired.
He took the injury settlement, right?
He took the injury settlement. He knew his body couldn't do nothing. And he was like, you know what, fuck it, man. I ain't about to hold y'all up. Y'all got to do what y'all got to do. Now, D Ford, on the other hand, was like, I'm going to hold you up, and I'm going to take every dime I can get out you, motherfucker. Now, I don't never knock a player when they got to get their money because it's hard as fuck to get paid in the NFL. From what I hear right now, the reason Bosa ain't signed is because he won a 4-year, and the 49ers want to give him a 5-year. And why would Bosa want a 4-year? So he can re-up again. These players got to get as much money out of these teams as they can while they're there, strictly based on the fact that these owners are making way more money than they are, and the money that they're getting is chump change. Because the only money that you really have is guaranteed bread. That's when you know that you're good. And look at the situation with running backs in the NFL. They can't even get paid. Why? Because they just become an expendable position. Well, if you keep bitching about getting money, that's fine. I'll bring a rookie in here, and hopefully he turns out to be another you. And when it comes time to pay him, I'll fuck him too and let him go. That's just how that league thinks about running backs.
They got to try to fix that running back thing at the CBA. This won't last for long.
Oh, no, yeah, you have to. In the CBA, it must be addressed the next time it comes up. You have to literally start. You got to almost all but state you need to pay running backs. And it's shitty because when you think about it, if you're a first-round pick in the league, 7 years of your career is already gone. Because
but that's your position.
No. I'm just saying 7 years of your life as a first-round pick is already gone. You're going to sign a 4-year deal. They have a 5th-year option. If they invoke that 5th-year option, then you're stuck there. You got to play with them. Then they can franchise tag you. Oh, then they can franchise tag you again. That is 7 years of my NFL career gone. And we all know 7 years in the NFL, technically speaking, is a very long time because the average lifespan of the NFL player is 2 to 3 years. So
if you play for the Bears, yes. But it's about 5 years. I think that running backs, listen, you get compensated for your versatility. Be a two-dimensional player, right? Mm-hmm. Catch the damn ball in the open field and run that motherfucker. Mm-hmm. You are going to get compensated for your versatility. I believe that.
Yeah, okay. Then what's going on with Jonathan Taylor, John?
I don't know, dude. You know,
Josh Jacobs.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, Jonathan
the owner of the Colts is bananas.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I've always said that Jim Irsay looked like he snorts a line of coke on the day.
Every day.
His face just screamed, all right, we're awake. Like all the fucking time. And I'm sorry, it blows my mind that someone with the kind of talent that Jonathan Taylor has, this man has talent, like crazy talent. And you literally are telling him, no, I don't want to trade you. Okay, well, go get a trade, but we're going to make sure that we're asking for an exorbitant amount of draft compensation so that you can't get traded and you have to be stuck here. Do you know that Anthony Richardson would love to have Jonathan Taylor? You know why? Because a running back is a rookie quarterback's best friend, especially one as good as Jonathan Taylor. If you have Jonathan Taylor there and you let Anthony Richardson continually develop, while Taylor is there, it takes the load off of him. He doesn't have to do so much. He can progress, through the season and keep working on things. He's going to make some wild plays. He's going to make some oh shit plays. But you've got to fail safe in a solid running back that can catch out of the backfield, that can run the ball and get you yardage and get you touchdowns. Those are good things. But if you look at him and go, well, we can't pay Jonathan, so we're gonna put you out there and hey, go get him. Like, I'm looking at the organization going, look, I appreciate this y'all naming me starting QB and all, but what the fuck? What you mean I ain't got Jonathan Taylor? I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and pay that man. Do something. And it just sticks in my craw that, back to Trey Lance, that he's been done like this, man. And it's not fair, bro. It hurts to the core to watch that young man. And, it's the number one thing for me is just the disrespect a young man has endured. It's not, I've never seen this put on anyone else. But what I can tell you is part of it is because he's black. And I say that with all sincerity. Because you know why? When black people do stuff in the NFL, it gets highlighted. It gets talked about for days on end, continuously. But when a white player does something, it gets a little quiet. We chalk it up to nothing. That player, that kicker for the Giants, who's a piece of shit, was whooping his wife's ass on a daily basis. Giants swept it under the rug. But then when it got out to the media, now we cut him. What? This is the piece of shit of a human being beating on a woman who he knows he's stronger than. But he's still on your squad? I'm sorry. I didn't know y'all condone that. Oh, okay. If that's the case, y'all should have went and got Greg Hardy. He was fucking people up too. These are the things that I'm talking about. And you have to think about it. Bosa, when he first came in, he had some bad shit on his shoulders. But you know what the media did? He's a young kid. He was just around the wrong crowd. It's not a big deal. Nick Bosa was a grown-ass motherfucking man. He knew what the fuck he said. He knew what the fuck he did. And he knew the people that he offended, and he didn't give two shits. And then that trash-ass girlfriend that he had, that everybody was fawning over, she had the nerve to say, I did my ancestry and I'm 1% black, so I can say nigga.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know about that. That's news to me. Sorry. That's terrible.
Honey, you are every bit of Caucasian. There's nothing about you that is black. Nothing. Not how you walk, how you talk, how you look, how you smell. Nothing about you screams any type of African American. I am so sorry. So no, you cannot use that word, because if you use that word in circles around other black folks, it might get you fucked up. And that's at your own fucking expense, lady. You want to be stupid like that, you can. And then to top it all off, she put out on Twitter, and this is what wound up breaking them up, because Joey and Nick's dad saw this. And he was the one who told Nick, get rid of her. She put on social media openly, I am looking for a big, dumb athlete so I can live off of them. Now, that's not what she said verbatim, paraphrasing, of course, but that's basically what she said. Nick Bosa's big. He may not be dumb, even though he talked like he's slow as shit. He may not be dumb, but he was big, he was an athlete, and he was about to get a lot of fucking money. And she knew that because she saw his brother get money. She saw that his dad had played in the NFL. So it was only right. And I mean, hell, Joey was the one who came out and said, y'all think I'm good. Y'all ain't, wait till you see my brother. So it's just, these things happen, man. And they get swept under the rug. And I feel like it just kills me that none of the players came into Lance's defense. And I'm pretty sure, you know, and none of the coaches, nobody comes to his defense. Nobody explains things. Everybody just says, well, it is what it is. And, you know, it's okay. No, I'm sorry. How do you give a young man who has 55 starts of trash play? He's got film for you to look at. That you can call a bust. But you gave him the second spot. He separated himself from Trey Lance. Well, I'm sorry. What did Sam Darnold do that was that fucking fantastic? I didn't see much of nothing in these preseason games. He looked all right. But he didn't look like he was supposed to be better than Trey Lance. I don't know, man. And I think that, honestly, for all the people that are telling me to shut up and stop crying and doing all that, if we do not win a fucking Super Bowl this year, I'm gonna need all of y'all line up in a single file line, because I'm gonna fart in your face as you kiss my fucking ass. Because you motherfuckers made it a point to be like, oh, you just complain all the time. I complain all the time? We still ain't got no Super Bowl. But everybody's happy. Just don't make no fucking sense.
I don't know if you got my message in the private chat.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I know I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At the 8:19 mark, she dropped a comment. If you see that, I don't know if you can find it.
See.
She brought up a very good question about Trey, actually.
Let's see where'd it go. Hold on.
8:19, right below Tyler's comment.
Yeah. Let me scroll up and get it.
Yeah, I wanted you to address that if you can.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get back to it. There's a lot of comments in there.
I know, there's a lot of comments.
Hey, I appreciate everybody that came through hanging out with your boy, man. I really do.
I got the live view thing on my Facebook group, and a lot of people. There you go. This lower cat's coming. Go ahead and take care of that.
Was it this?
That's it.
Oh no! From what I hear, he's not playing.
Okay.
I heard that. I heard he wasn't. But then again, I mean, it's Kyle. We don't know. We don't know if we're going to be alive tomorrow.
That's great, Kyle. That's his quote.
Kyle on that KMBR pre-recorded or pre-screened interview, he said that he's playing right after Sam.
Oh, okay. Now,
yeah, he said on the interview, but is Trey going to follow through though? That's the thing.
Oh, I mean, listen. I mean, you're still an employee of this team. You still have to play. And I mean, if you want out of San Francisco, you want to play. Mm-hmm. You need to get as much out there for anybody interested.
You're gonna have to,
because if they give San Francisco a third for Trey, they're gonna take it and he's gone.
Yeah.
But word on the street was they were offered six rounders during the draft, and San Francisco didn't bite.
No, I'm sorry, I wouldn't give him up for that. That wouldn't make sense.
At this point, you just got to give him up. At this point right now, just got to give him up. You just took him and drove his value into the ground, which let me tell you something. We feel this type of way about Jimmy, but they did the same thing to Jimmy. They drove his value into the ground, especially in that presser where they sat there and, shook their asses for the whole world to see about why they moved up to 3. They sat there and drove Jimmy into the ground, essentially shooting themselves in the foot because they wanted to shake their ass and talk about why they moved up to 3. They didn't even know why the fuck they moved up to 3. They had no idea.
I brought that up earlier.
They moved up to 3, and they're like, oh, now that we're here, what the fuck are we going to do? It's like getting up to the high dive and getting to the edge and looking around and like, I'm not jumping.
Yeah.
Well, motherfucker, you better pick somebody because you're here and the clock is on. And you knew that the entire fan base was united in one thing. And it's the only fucking time they're ever going to be united. And that was not to take Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. I don't give a shit if it was the janitor that wanted him. Don't you get shit. Nope.
And I brought this up before you got on here, John. John, I brought this up before you got on here. Maybe you heard me say it before to those who got on late. I'm going to say it again. I'm not a big Jimmy fan. I was drinking the Kool-Aid at one point in time, but then I saw the light. But I'll say this. Knowing what we know now, if we knew that we weren't going to give Trey a real opportunity after swinging for the fences, using a baseball analogy, and trading all those picks and doing whatever we did to get the guy, why didn't we just stay put with Jimmy, accumulate impact players, Micah Parsons, offensive line, whatever to strengthen the team, the other positions on the team aside from quarterback, and go from there. And I'm sorry, Micah Parsons on this defense in that Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes, even with Trey Lance, even with Jimmy at quarterback, good chance we win. NFC Championship game the following season, the following 2021 when we play the Rams, really good chance we win that game. I mean, I could go down the line of how much better we would have been. And this is with Trey. With Jimmy, as I keep saying Trey, with Jimmy as a game manager. You know, but it's like we don't even get to see that now. We get nothing. You know, remember at the end of Willy Wonka? When Gene Wilder was hella pissed off, one of the greatest scenes of you stole fizzy lifting drinks. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. That's what happened to the 49ers. That's what fucking happened to this fucking team that I fucking live and die for. That if I was not emotionally and spiritually tied to this team because my brother, God rest his soul, I have a brick in Levi Stadium with his name on it because he passed away 10 years ago. If I didn't have all those spiritual ties to this team with my brother who may be the 49er fan that I am today, I'd be off of this fucking fan base right the fuck now because Kyle just fucked up royally. John Lynch fucked up royally. Jed York, you're the boss. You fucked up royally.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
he's on cruise control, bruh.
Yeah.
Jed York put it on cruise control in 2017. He hasn't looked back since, bro.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it there, man.
That's a great note.
That's a perfect way to end it, man. Bash with the bash.
Good day, sir.
I appreciate that, man. But thank everybody for tuning in. We all know the Trey Lance is pretty much gone. We rocking with Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy. Let's hope that Brock Purdy don't get hurt because if Sam Darnold has to play, I don't know what the fuck gonna happen. But thank y'all.
Purdy better be healthy. Is all I got. We do not want to see Darnold as our quarterback.
Thank y'all for tuning in. And once again, and as always, go Niners.
Hey, Steve, you can clip me all you want, man. Clip me all you want.